Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Well, here it is. I promised to build a little nano board with a GP5 or maybe a micro pedal board or mini pedal board, whatever you want to call it. And I promised to do it, and this is it. I'm going to put links to everything that we're about to go through in the description below, so you can get any of this if you want. But I encourage you to stick around to the very end because once I run down this little rig, I'm going to compare and contrast it with some other options that are out there. And you might come to the conclusion that I think I've come to about this little exercise. But let's start with the fun part. Here it is. I told you I'd build one, and lots of people have done this. But I really wanted to walk through the pieces and parts of this because you probably were sitting in bed, you've been looking on Amazon, you've made your little wish list and stuff like that we all do. And you probably were wondering, wow, I wonder exactly what I would need to put this together. And this is about as tight and functional of a setup as I could come up with. The only thing that I really think could go on here as an addition would be an expression pedal. And I did get the Sonicake Vol-Wah right here. I bought that as well to go on here. And it could be, I could extend it a little, get a little longer pedal board maybe, or I could move some of this stuff around, put the power supply underneath in the back, move everything to the left, and I could get this on here. In fact, I had it all set up with this pedal on here at one point. I took it off, I took it back out, and the reason is because although this is a great little pedal, it does volume, it does wah. That's all it does, and it does them both pretty well. You can tighten the resistance here. It's not a bad little pedal. It's really not. Here's the problem. There's no way to put a minimum volume level on this. You can't program it, you can't manually set it. If they just had a little dial right here that said minimum volume level, and like 1 to 10, right? With 10 being no change and 1 or 0 being, completely silent. This would be so usable and so much better for a board like this, because I do want to have full volume, but a lot of the times I don't want 0. I want like 30% when I'm toe down, or 40% when I'm toe down, or something like, or toe up. I don't want dead silence. That means to use this, you have to ride the pedal while you're using it to get your volume back down where you want. What would be best is just toe down 100%, toe up, whatever custom minimum setting I have. That's not there, so I had to completely remove that from the pedal board because I don't want, I use my expression pedals are configured to have a minimum volume setting on them. So that's why the Sonicake's not on here, because I just didn't like the way it worked, but you might, and so you might want to do that. It does affect the price, needless to say, and the price is probably ultimately what I'm really going to come back to when we're all said and done. We're going to talk about the price and the value for the price. And I'm not sure it's there. I'm just not. But let's go through this anyway. So first of all, we have a completely isolated power supply. This is not hooked into anything. I'm running exclusively on this rechargeable battery unit right here. Okay, so let's go through the board. Valeton GP5, Horse PRO2 power supply, rechargeable power supply. M-Vave Chocolate Plus, this is the Chocolate Plus, the newer unit. And the Donner triple looper. I also have a little small little aluminum, nice solid little aluminum pedal board that came with this little nylon case. And you may be thinking like I was, hey, look, man, this is kick-ass. Yeah, that's what I had in mind. I know, me too. I did. This is exactly what I had in mind. And now that I've done it, I'm not so sure about it anymore. And here's why. When I started this whole thing, I started with the Valeton GP5. I bought this unit ultimately because I have a very big pedal board with lots of functionality on it, lots of routing options and all kinds of crazy stuff going on. That's my gigging pedal board. And I wanted something smaller, just something smaller. Now, I have something smaller. This is my my emergency guitar kit right here. I don't know if you can see that. It's my emergency guitar kit that I bring with me on all my gigs. And in it, I have my Zoom G1X4. I keep this with me at all times. I have fresh batteries in it, and I know this unit. And I know that I know, if I'm in a horrible situation, God forbid something, water should dump on my pedal board. Did you see that with you got to check out that video with, oh my gosh, I cannot believe it, Limp Bizkit, holy cow. So you got to check out the Limp Bizkit video. They're playing, and part of the ceiling fills with water, I guess it's rain or something outside, and just crashes down right directly on to Wes's pedal board. Literally, like, directly onto the pedal board. And the whole band's just standing there staring like, what the fuck just happened? It literally dumped like 50 gallons of water right on his pedal board, ruined everything. Heaven forbid something like that should happen. What am I going to do to finish the gig? Well, I've got something like this in my bag. And this is a nice unit. It's old, it's a little old now, but it's fully self-contained. I've got looper, I've got rhythm, I've got a little expression pedal. It's not fully programmable, but it does a few things. And I've got lots of banks and multi-effects that I've tweaked out for my guitars. And this unit sounds quite good. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. I've gigged with this for almost a year. This was my gigging pedal board, like literally right here, until I upgraded to the Valeton GP200. So once I'd upgraded to that, things began, to get a lot more serious. But then I decided, hey, I'll back down. We've got the GP5, right? So the idea was a small pedal board. Well, let's start talking about the challenges right off the bat. First of all, this requires external power. It doesn't have battery compartments. There's no way to power it with battery. So right away, this is not a standalone unit. It can't be standalone because you've got to have off-board power to power the damn thing. No option for battery power. So there's a challenge with this. That means immediately you've got to put this on a pedal board of some kind because you got to have power for it. The next challenge, of course, is you have to have the app. You got to have the app in order to use this unit. I'm sorry, not to use it. You have to have the app to program it. To program all the patches or to edit any patches, you have to have the app on your phone. Once programmed, yes, it's a standalone unit. But there's no looper on here at all. App or either one's no looper. And there is rhythm on the app, but not directly on the pedal. So there's no onboard rhythm right here on this pedal. And there's no way to self-power this thing. So right of the way, we've got a really cool, nice effects. Sounds amazing. I love the effects that I've started playing with and programming it, tweaking it for my guitars. Amazing. It sounds absolutely amazing. Another challenge, though, is it's got one foot switch. Obviously, it has one foot switch, but that means you can only set it up to the foot switch to work in one way. I currently have it configured for instant off for tuner. That's how I currently have it set up with this board right here. I don't need to increment up. By default, this just increments up by one. Like, that's what it does. It just increments up by one. And I use the M-Vave Chocolate Plus for all of my patch switching. I do not have this set up yet. I had it set up, I reset it, and I need to reset it all again. But the way I'm going to have the M-Vave set up is A is going to take me patch down, B is going to take me patch up, double press here is going to take me bank down, double press here will take me bank up, and each of these I will set up so that they can activate or deactivate one of the pedals in this pedal chain. So this candy right here, pedal chain, has distortion and amps and all kinds of stuff going on it. Well, suppose I wanted to toggle between a clean sound and an overdriven sound on this patch. With the app, I can set it up so that I can send it a signal from the M-Vave to cut, say, the distortion out and on, off, on, distortion, or overdrive, off, on, or chorus, or delay, or whatever I want to set it up for. So that way I have a lot more controllability of this with this switcher. As I mentioned, the power supply is powering all this stuff. And finally over here we have the Nano triple looper, which is great. You have 3 separate slots for looping. It's very cool. I think it has 30 minutes per, 90 minutes total. You can do almost unlimited overdubs, stuff like that. Sounds good. No complaints here about the sound quality. But just like this only has one foot switch, this doesn't have a stereo output. Even though it's a mono input, it doesn't send the signal to both headphones. It only sends the signal out of here to one headphone. That would have been a very inexpensive thing to do on this jack right here, was just make this jack compatible with headphones, even though it's not a true stereo signal coming out of this looper. It would have been great to be able to run headphones out of here. You can't do that because you only hear the loop on one freaking side of your headphones. So it's very annoying and completely unusable, even though this has headphone output in true stereo. So although I could headphone into this and hear all this stuff in full stereo, by the time I get over here, I literally have mono on the left side of my headphones. So that's not cool. Once I got all these cables and stuff, I realized, you know what? I need right angle everything. See, these power cables have right angles, but the other ends of the power cables have straight. I need right angle connectors everywhere. The USB, the 1/4 inch, and the power cables all need right angle connectors everywhere for this to work a lot better. Because as you can see, without that, you got binding. You can only place things in a certain proximity to each other. If you have the right angle connectors for all the cabling, you have a lot more flexibility in how you want to move all of this around and lay it all out. Ultimately, though, we got to come back to the price. And that's really where this really fun, cool, slightly complicated setup begins to fall apart. Unless there is a reason you specifically want something like this. And maybe you do. But if you're just looking at the functionality represented by this, not the brands or stuff like that, just the functionality of this, I think you got better options out there. That's just my honest to God opinion. Let's total all this up quickly and see. Here's the Valeton GP5. That's $79. Let's call it $80, just to make life simple. Okay, here's the M-Vave Chocolate Plus at around between $40 and $50. So let's just be conservative and say this is $80 and this is $40. There's $120. The Donner Looper is $70. Typically, you can get it on sale between $60 and $70. So let's go with $60 here. So now we're up to 3 units only, and we're already up to $180. We add the horsepower supply in, which I think is around 30. Now we're at 210, and this pedal board, this little aluminum pedal board with a case, was $30. We're at $26 around there, so 30. So we were at 210, 30. So what we're roughly looking at here, and I didn't even include cables. Let's say cables and everything all in, depending on the day you buy it, what may or may not be on sale that day, you're going to be looking around $250 for this setup right here. If you want a longer pedal board and you want to add the Vol-Wah, now you're up to, say, $280. And you have all the complexity involved. All the cabling to go potentially wrong or to fail. The connections, you know, this is hard. I have this hard connected in here by USB. But you know, you've got to have your Bluetooth to run the app on this, etc., etc. Lots of components. Let me show you this, just as a comparison. This popped up on my phone today. This is the Mooer GE150. Now, I don't have this unit. I don't have it. I've read a little bit about it. I do have another Mooer unit that I bought a few years ago, but it's nothing like this. It's just a different unit entirely. But I want you to look at what we have immediately here. You have 4 buttons across the bottom, which have both individual and group push options. So double switch, single switching, and you have an expression pedal built into it. And this thing right now is $134. I mean, $134. And it's battery powered. So this is truly an isolated, standalone, complete little pedal board. I mean, look what I have here. That's a great option. Comes with the expression pedal, comes with the 4-button foot switches. It comes with onboard programmability, as well as looper, as well as rhythm function. I've got to tell you, if I weren't determined to do this, now that I've done it at least, I might just sell this whole thing. I might just sell this whole thing and get this Mooer unit. I really might do that because I need more capability than my Zoom G1X unit provides as an emergency backup. But I want something smaller than my massive pedal board that I use when I gig with. So I think, all things considered, if I were going to do all this again, and my recommendation to anyone who's considering this, again, unless there is a really specific reason you want this type of a setup, and maybe there is, you know, maybe you want to use some more of these micro pedals or, you know, mini nano pedals, whatever. Unless this is really what you want for a very particular reason, at the expense, at the $250 to $280 that it's going to cost you to reproduce this whole thing, when you could buy this battery-powered Mooer unit, which is freaking it's 4.5 reviews, and you can bet a lot of people have bought this thing. This is I just can't honestly recommend anything like this over a Mooer unit. I can't. For price, for performance, for functionality, for simplicity, I just don't see why anyone, let me not speak for anyone else, I see no reason for this myself. I would much rather have this Mooer unit, just have one thing in a case about the same size as this, and be absolutely done with it. And there's my new mini pedal board, all in one unit. I tried it. Maybe you want to try it too. But in the end, I just can't recommend this pedal board setup. But I wanted to kind of show you one more thing. Check this out. Even if you just wanted the Valeton GP5 and the looper, let's just say you just wanted those two and you wanted that little extra cable to go between the two, and that's it, that's all you wanted. You're just going to stick them on a piece of cardboard or, you know, glue them to a piece of plywood or something, and that's your pedal board. Even if that was your plan, $80 and $70 is $150. The Mooer unit's $134. Why would you do that? Yeah, okay, sure, maybe the Valeton has a particular patch that you really want or you love or whatever, or you want the 3 loops, you know, there are benefits to these pedals, and there's reasons to do this, I suppose. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't know why you wouldn't just go with a Mooer GP150. You could use the Valeton GP100 at $150, literally less than those, still less than those two, or about the same price as those two together. But the Valeton GP100 does not have battery power. So once again, you're tasked with having an external power supply of some form. The Mooer runs on external power or battery supply, either one. So I got to tell you, in the final analysis, you know, I've done the do. I've put the pedal board together as inexpensively and, you know, succinctly as I can. But the reality is, to get what you're looking at here, especially if you want the Vol-Wah on the end, you are talking about $280. And for less, and for, well, 130, 140, for literally half the price, you can get a Mooer GE150. And I recommend, if you're leaning this direction, I have to recommend that you don't go this direction. I just do. Have to use the app to program this or to work with it. You can't do it directly on here. You have to program the M-Vave to do what you want on here. It has to have a hardwire connection to do it. And both the triple looper and the Valeton must have power supplied to them to work. I just can't justify this, folks. Anyway, that's the video. Hope this has been helpful. I know it was kind of long, but you know, the goal of all my videos is to help you make good decisions and not have as many regrets when you make a decision on equipment that you may be thinking about purchasing. So I hope this has been helpful for you. All the links below. grab anything you want down there. Have a great day.